This is where an unknown man stood as he secretly recorded videos of women and posted it online. This is the Bengaluru metro where another man shot videos of women passengers without their consent and posted them online. Now you may ask, what's the problem in shooting videos of women and posting them online? These are public spaces after all. Well, these videos are voyeuristic in nature, zooming into the bodies of women. Just because you're in a public space doesn't mean you want to be content for anyone's Instagram.
In the last few days, two separate but deeply disturbing incidents have brought back focus on women's safety and their right to privacy in public places in Bengaluru. In one case, a man identified as Digant was arrested for filming women on the metro. Around the same time, another anonymous Instagram page was found uploading videos of women filmed secretly in public places without their consent. In this week's In Public Interest, we take a look at this disturbing trend that has exposed the darker side of public transportation, digital voyeurism thriving under the guise of content creation. Before I go further, I need to pause here for a moment. In Public Interest is a new show on the News Minute where I, along with my colleagues from across South India, will bring you stories that matter. So do write to us if you want a particular issue to be discussed or a story to be covered from your city or from your state. Remember, this show is truly in your interest, in the interest of the viewer, because it's you, the viewer, who is sponsoring it, and not a political party or a corporate entity. So if you want to support us, scan this QR code or click the link in the description to become a paid member of the News Minute or to contribute to our reporting fund. Secretly filmed, uploaded on public Instagram pages, and even sold on Telegram channels, the right to privacy of several women has been violated in full public view. This man, Digant, who was arrested for taking videos of women, told the Bengaluru police that he did it to gain followers and likes on Instagram.
Obviously, it's an egregious wrong. It not only affects, I think, particular individual women who may be captured when they were not expecting to be photographed and their, legitimate expectation of their privacy and dignity being affected, but it creates this larger difficulty, right? Your general expectation of safety at a public place is also affected and general perception of safety is affected.
Women, girls and vulnerable people are considered vulnerable. They're considered with less power and agency, and therefore this happens more often with them. And therefore, just as much as the law actually covers all forms of power related inappropriate behavior as part of larger sexism and sexual violence, this is also a part of that, very much integrated into the law, and it is gender-based violence.
But this isn't just about one man with a mobile camera. It's about a culture where women are turned into objects for someone else's content. It's about platforms that enable it. And it's about the silence of bystanders who choose to look the other way.
Then the question is, what happens when it gets reported to them, right? How do they respond, right? And we've seen in many cases that they don't respond, right? Unless it gets a lot of public attention, very often platforms don't respond, right? You get into a loop in a process where you might get an automated review, or you might get a human review. Again, that's not always legible from the outside. You don't know what's really going on there, and you just get a you just get a thing saying that, hey, look, we looked into your report and we didn't find it, and we've stuck with our original decision or something like that, right? So there isn't a lot of clear transparency in terms of how they work as well, when you actually identify it and show them an example where you believe their community standards are being violated, right? And so that's where So even if you take away the complication of detection and proactive detection, right, this is where platforms are clearly not doing enough, right?
The accused, who was arrested for filming women in Bengaluru metro, was charged under Section 67 of Information Technology Act, which pertains to publishing and transmitting obscene materials electronically. He was also charged under Section 78(2) of BNS, which deals with stalking. The disturbing trend on social media also exposes the glaring gap in the law. The Metro Railway Operations and Maintenance Act of 2002, which governs metro systems across the country, does not include a single provision to penalize those harassing women on board.
These specific legislations that seek to regulate specific spaces are clearly not understanding women's safety as a specific issue that needs to be targeted. Instead, the idea is that, well, if you're speaking about metro rail, it's about traffic safety understood in a very narrow manner rather than understanding safety of all of your constituents and all of your passengers. And well, 50% of that should be women, and therefore you need to keep in mind the special needs or special vulnerabilities that they have.
Women have long raised concerns about harassment in Bengaluru metro. In 2019, women guards were deployed, but only after 10 pm. Since then, no concrete steps have been taken to tackle voyeurism or to make daily commutes safer for women.
To ensure women's safety, apart from installing CCTV cameras, several metro rail networks across South India have taken a few measures. In Hyderabad Metro, She Teams patrols are deployed on trains. Chennai Metro has Pink Squad teams. In Bengaluru, women guards are stationed on board after 10 pm. Kochi Metro has more women workforce and adequate number of women security personnel.
Whatever they film, how they use it, like on which platform do they post it, or like what do they say about it, that is what matters.
It's not always possible for women to go to the women's coach because it's very crowded at times, and if you're in a hurry you just go in whatever coach you get on.
Ladies separate section, but I feel like that is also like you're segregating us from the rest of the population just because men can't control their temptations. I feel like it's a very like temporary solution to a problem that stems deep within the roots of our society, and we need to change that first.
Filming without consent is not limited to stray social media accounts. Even mainstream media channels have been guilty too, especially during the New Year's Eve coverage or while sensationalizing the city's nightlife.
ப்ராப்ளம் என்னவோ நடக்குது, பட் ஆனால் ஃபோக்கஸ் வந்து கேர்ள்ஸ் கிட்ட மட்டும்தான், ஃபுல்லாகவே கேர்ள்ஸ் கிட்ட மட்டும்தான். அவங்க வந்து எப்படின்னா ஓடி 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 கேமராஸ் வந்து எங்களை ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணி எடுத்துகிட்டு இருந்தாங்க. அதுக்கப்புறமா பசங்களை ஒருத்தர் கூட எடுக்கல, அண்ட் போலீஸ் வந்து லிட்டரலி வேடிக்கை மட்டும் தான் பார்த்துட்டு இருந்தாங்க, வேறு எதுவுமே பண்ணல. எதுக்கு வீடியோ எடுக்கிறாங்கன்னு கூட எங்களுக்கு எப்போ வரைக்கும் தெரியாது. அடுத்த நாள் வந்து நியூஸ் அதான் அந்த மார்னிங் வந்து நியூஸ் வந்ததுக்கு அப்புறமா தான் தெரியும். நியூஸ்லேயே எப்படி தெரிஞ்சதுன்னா, நீங்கள் வந்து லேட் நைட் ரன்னிங் நடக்குது கிளப்பு, ஸோ அதனால் வந்து நாங்கள் வந்து வந்தோம், அண்ட் கேர்ள்ஸ் வேர் லைக் ட்ரங்க், ஸோ எல்லாமே இப்படி சுற்றிட்டு இருந்தாங்க. இப்படி தான் வந்து கான்செப்ட் வந்துச்சு. பட் ஆனால் அது கான்செப்டே கிடையாதுங்க. அவங்களா ஒரு கண்டென்ட் க்ரியேட் பண்ணி, ஸோ எங்களை வந்து இந்த மாதிரி போர்ட்ரேட் பண்ணி வெளியே பண்ணி எங்களை வந்து ஒரு மாதிரி கேர்ள்ஸையே லைக் ஒரு மாதிரி பண்ணிட்டாங்க.
Why is consent in a public space not required? It's not about public space, personal space, or inside homes. That's not the question really. It's about who is she to give me consent, right? Why do I even need her permission? Because women historically are commodified, right? So there is patriarchy that prevails here. There's an entitlement of being a cis-het man that prevails here. And therefore, anything in public domain or public spaces that women, girls and vulnerable people occupy, we're considered like we're public property because we're only considered as property.
Unless you have a safe enabling environment, a woman would not be able to go to work safely, would not be able to go to to college, to wherever they are going, or just go about their day. They need not occupy public spaces only for specific reasons. It could just be that I want to go out, I want to stand on a road corner, right? I want to go stand outside a cinema theatre, just recreationally. A woman has a right to occupy those public spaces. And anything that hampers that freedom needs to be seen suspiciously and needs to be seen critically.
This isn't the first time women have been filmed or harassed in public spaces. But what's worrying is how such violations are being normalized or even monetized on social media. Public spaces mean safety, not surveillance. And it should not take viral outrage for action to be taken. If this is happening in your city, do write to us. In public interest, we report what matters to you. Now support our work by becoming a subscriber, scan the QR code.